bordered by a locked, most of the time, locked gate, which leads, that we use for our personal driveway and also for other means. We'll go out to the front and take a look at what the building looks like in the middle of winter here. Not that there's a lot of snow at this particular time, but nothing is very green either. With that same entry, looking at the front of the building, the office entry is right here, as you see the yellow door, and we continue on down. This would be the machine shop, the automotive machine shop. Further down, as you can see, the difference in the addition, a roll-up door on the outside here also, and then the additional building that was just built down to the corner of Newman Lane. And panning the other way is the front of our mobile home, and a personal gate we very rarely use, along with our other shop, Smart Enterprises, in the background, the Quonset hut shop. From our house on across the road, and this gives you a little better view. Now this gate has remained locked, but we used to run the wrecking yard out of this area, and actually out of that Quonset hut building down there. But Smartway Auto Parts is now being run at the back at the old building, where the way down there, let's see, the back there you can see the mobile home that we're zooming in on. That is where Harold is living, and the parking lot just beyond the sign there is part of the original yard. The parking yard is where this our yard starts, Smartway Auto Parts, as you can see where the car is turning around at the bottom. And panning on back, you can see where Harold is living, our manager, and the original parking lot, which is really dirty at this point, hadn't been cleaned in a long time, and on up into the impound yard, which is and the big Quonset hut in the back is where we do a lot of our dismantling and where our EPA center is. This area here is also all connected, although they're all individual and separate properties. Behind the Smart Enterprises door, or building I mean, is our guest house, which is a 12 by 62 bedroom mobile home. Pan here the rest of the area into our front yard, which is now, the lawns are not very good, but and all our statues and everything are covered, since this is in the middle of a winter time. And on over into the Smart Engineering building, so we can get a better concept of what's basically here. The rear area of the rear of our shop building, where you see the mobile home that we use for storage, you'll find lots and lots of other cores and storage around, along with the lumber that was originally with this building, with this property, that some of it got burned. This was originally in a construction company when I bought it. Notice the diesel in the background. There's a new flat rack lowboy trailer behind it, which is now obscured by all of the junky wood in front of it. But behind there is a trailer. We never did use that. We bought it brand new and never used it. Panning on around is some more of the back of our yard, or one of the sections of our yard, going on over into the area where our guest house is, which is about 150 feet from, or 100 feet maybe, from our personal home. Back mobile home, as you'll see in a minute, for our guest house, so that no one is inconvenienced You can see it just now appearing in the right hand corner of the picture. We just push them back there. It's fully furnished, even cooking facilities. However, most people don't cook there, but it's certainly available if anybody wants to use it for that. With microwaves, TVs, VCRs, it has everything that you would normally encounter in your own home. Although it's an old mobile home, it's still very comfortable. The porch has not ever gotten the rails put back on it, or put on it to start with, actually. I have them, but just have another project that has never gotten done. We did get started on the one handrail up the ramp, but that's as far as it went. And of course, this place is fully air conditioned also. Next to it, we have another storage area. I just assume not say anything about it. It's a mess inside, but we do use it only for storage. Looking at the a little farther down the area, you can see the front of the Smart Enterprises building and another forklift that's sitting there that is going to be rebuilt someday, I hope, along with many of the other numerous projects we have around here. Inside right now, this building, we're using it for not only storage, but to build race cars and reconstruct some of the older cars that we redo. Looking again in the back to our old red tow truck and my Dodge 4x and a trailer, and that is our two-car carrier, which we towed 2 vehicles with at one time. And on around to Old Whitey. That's the truck that I parked there years ago, and it was my personal vehicle for many, many years when I first moved to this area. Dodge 4x4 with a 95 car trailer on it that we loan more than we use, and there's a few vehicles in the background. This old yellow Dodge here is a 1962 Dodge, which still runs fine, and I brought it up here and used it to move up here from California along with the white truck. The cars that are in the background, the few that are back there, are part of the stock, just wrecking vehicles for parts available or whatever. Coming around from the backside, actually, of the mobile home, however, this is the entrance, the guest mobile home that our guests stay at, past our old truck, which we still use somewhat, the old dump truck, and when we're doing work around here. There's another one that we use also. Into the Quonset hut building in the background there, and there is still some stock left here in this yard. However, when we smashed out a couple of years ago, we did 1,600 cars and pretty much eliminated most of our older stock, or unvaluable stock as you would have it. Back in the background now, you can see this is our smasher down beyond that truck, where we do all of our actual crushing. And this yard goes way down in the back. There's several acres here that we use for the wrecking yard itself. As we cross over into the original wrecking yard down by where our manager Harold lives, and we can see the Quonset hut in the background, where we do a great deal of our motor pulling of the engines before they go to the crusher. This is our EPA center right inside of here. Panning around beyond this area, you can see the large area that we have, and now very few vehicles left, comparatively speaking, to what we had a few years ago. This yard will probably accommodate 2,000 vehicles at least without stacking. forklift is what we do most of our loading and smashing with. And if you can see in the background, there's a fixture right there where we sit the cars on top of. Under this is a pit that is very, very thick with concrete all the way around. Should there be any kind of a spill that would catch any of the liquids that might be involved in such a spill. Moving around, we go towards the old office, which is now the office that's being used. The yellow door, and this is the old office, which is now going to be used again for the wrecking yard only. Panning around our tire pile, and one of the numerous tire piles, and the tire machine beyond it. Beyond that is our air compressor in that shed and more storage areas. We can see that one side of our yard, we can't actually see the end of it from this area, but it's way down there. And some of the vehicles that we have in stock still, the old yellow forklift, which is a four-wheel drive forklift, the one that sits right in front of us there, and we sometimes use it, but it's old and slow. Panning on around, you can see some of the area of our yard, that not all of it, and into the crushing area where we actually do all of our crushing. This is our crusher, but I'm going to zoom down there in to see if we can find the end of our property. This is a 24:1 zoom lens, so we're way down there. Anyway, you can see those trucks and things are still on our property down there. However, that is about the end of it. These trucks that you're looking at right here, we cut the tops out of them and put engines in. This is the smasher motor right here, and the engine that drives the smasher. This smasher is a slammer type smasher, where we put the vehicle in and lift a big lid and by way of cables, and then drop the lid on the car, and in a matter of only 2 seconds we have a 6-inch high car. The entrance to the smasher itself, we drive a forklift up this little road, stripping all of the tires off, and it's pretty obvious that we've done 1 or 2 cars here. There's literally hundreds and probably thousands of tires in this yard that we have not been able to sell or get rid of at this point. But we drive the vehicle or the forklift up, drop the car in this unit, and drop the lid on it, and as I said, it's history. Things up here in this area, we would just pan around a little bit, and you can see the vehicles down at the back section, this back section of our yard, and where we haven't refilled all of these yet, and awning around, and we'll get an idea how vast of a yard this is, or how really large it is, comparatively speaking. Panning back on around into the section from which we came, and through the opening and back into, there's our other Quonset hut way over there, and where we do our teardowns is right up here. Back into the teardown area here, where we remove, in the Quonset hut, where we remove engines and other parts that we want to save off of the vehicles that might contaminate the earth or the atmosphere in some way or another. Note the van that sits alongside with the roof cut out of it, and right now it is full of engines, and we ship them in these vehicles that way. To the front of our yard, on the upper side of the front of our yard is another area where we have some vehicles at the moment, and over to the right is what we call our impound, where we take these vehicles while they're having, while we're doing the paperwork on them. The old office and what we call the glass house, a small building there on the left, and panning on into where Harold lives. This is a mobile also, of course, because mobiles are only allowed here. No permanent structures for residential use. This is a 24 by 64 or 71, I don't remember, mobile home, 3-bedroom, quite nice on the inside. Looking at the opposite way, this road, such as it is, goes through our impound area, where you'll see various vehicles with various states of paperwork being done, over by our Quonset hut, where the new Quonset hut, the Smart Enterprise Quonset hut, and then our house in the background over there, which is also a double-wide mobile home, which is still a very nice motor home, but was a bit small for us. And that is where we live. And if you note in the background is Smart Engineering, our machine shop. So it's all pretty well close together here without too much need to go anywhere for anything except personal. Looking towards the back section of our wrecking yard into and panning around to the that's an old storage mobile home there that is a real disaster inside, which that's the Smart Enterprises building right there again. Right there is our guard cat, and that's Mama, and I'm afraid she's going to come over here and probably take a big bite out of me, because she's about as mean as they come, and doesn't she look it? I guess you don't want any fresh meat today here, so she's going to bypass me and go snooping around. And in the driveway here is my wife's infamous Casper, which I have really dirty due to the fact that I just brought it back over the snow country from California. But this is her first brand new vehicle she's ever owned. She's very proud of it. Here we go again. Oh, my back itches. But we'll look on back down this driveway to the front of our building that we used to use for the wrecking yard. It's a view of the